All right, hi guys. Okay, so today we're gonna make sausage balls. It is another type of appetizer, and it's actually really easy. The recipe only has 3 ingredients in it, but I'm gonna be adding some seasonings, some herbs and spices because just to add them in because I think it'll make it taste better. So the ingredients are sharp cheddar cheese, Bisquick pancake mix, and I just have the Giant Eagle brand and a pound of pork sausage. So you can pick whichever flavor you like of the sausage. A lot of people like to use the hot sausage just to give it more flavor. Actually, not going to be using pork sausage. I'm going to be using venison sausage because that's what we have. But if you do buy it at the store, they sell it in a tube so that it's not in the casing. And that would probably be the easiest one to use. It's like Jimmy Dean. But okay, so if you guys happen to have link sausage where it's in the casing, then I'm going to show you how you can just get it out of the casing really easily. I have kitchen shears. I'm just going to cut the casing and just kind of work it out. You could also squeeze it out of there, but I've found it's easier to cut it. So I'm just kind of like going down, snipping. This is actually, the recipe calls for a pound. I'm using a little bit more than a pound. And if you don't like pork either, then you can use poultry sausage. So just go to the store and see what they have in that section and, pick whatever flavor you guys like. But you don't want this casing in there because you want to mix it with the Bisquick mix and the cheese and you want it to all combine really nicely. Okay, so what I did with my sausage before I put it in there was I let it sit at room temperature for a little bit, and it's just going to make it easier to mix with the other ingredients and incorporate it. So 2 cups of pancake mix, just the regular pancake mix. Make sure you don't get like blueberry flavored or anything like that. And so pancake mix has flour, baking powder, and usually salt in it. That's what we're adding here to this. So it's almost going to be a little bit like a not quite like a muffin because there's going to be a lot of other stuff mixed in there, but it's going to give it a more substantial quality. So we have our grain, their pancake mix, right? And if it was whole wheat, we would have a whole grain, but that might be kind of weird with this. We have our grain, we have our meat, and I am using a lean protein because it's venison. And then I have my dairy. So I'm going to be adding a pound of sharp cheddar cheese. This is something else you could mess around with. If you wanted to do like cheddar cheese, pepper jack, that would add a little bit of heat to it and more flavor. You could use Colby. Whatever cheese you choose to use, though, I would say make sure that it has a lot of flavor. So if you want to use something like provolone for this. Okay, so I already grated up my cheese. So a pound of cheddar cheese is one of those bigger blocks. And I didn't buy the pre-shredded stuff because remember what I told you guys when we made the cheese ball, and that is that it has that cellulose in it, that anti-caking agent. So it's probably going to affect the way that it melts, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so I'm actually just going to get right in there with my hands. I think it's going to be easier to do that. So the seasonings that I'm going to add to this, I'm going to add some garlic powder and what else did I take out? I took out Italian seasoning. So Italian seasoning has thyme and oregano. Sometimes there's basil in there. So think about things that taste good with pork too. So you could use like sage, thyme, like Italian seasoning, oregano, any of those things would be good in there. And then I'm also gonna have some cayenne pepper for a little bit of heat because I just used a mild sausage and some crushed red pepper. So the nice thing about these is that you can shape them into balls and you can freeze them and put them in a freezer bag, and they're good for about a month or 3 months, I'm sorry, in a freezer bag. And then when you're ready, you just stick them in the oven and you're ready to go. So these take about 20 minutes at 350, and I'm just going to be using my cookie scoop to scoop them out and put them on the tray. And then I was also reading other reviews where you don't want to um, make the ball really tight because then it won't cook right and it won't have room to expand. Because Bisquick has baking powder in it, remember? And that's a leavening agent. So we want to, allow these room to expand and not be hard and gross. Okay, so I had the video paused and I actually ended up adding a little bit of milk, about 1/4 of a cup, because it was just really hard to mix and it wasn't staying together. I added about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, probably about a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I made a few sausage balls just like that, just so that they were mild. But now I'm going to add some cayenne pepper. Be careful how much you add of this because it's pretty strong. So, less is more, I guess. Unless you like really hot stuff. Okay, so we got some of that. I'm going to add some crushed red pepper, and then I'm going to mix it up again. Now, if you buy hot sausage, there will be some crushed red pepper in that already. All right, so I'm going to use my hand, mix it up again. This is almost like making meatballs, but there's no breadcrumbs or eggs or anything like that in here. You also want to be careful not to overmix this because there is the the Bisquick mix in there. So if you do, you might end up with, it might be really tough and hard. You want it to be kind of soft and pillowy. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make the rest of my sausage balls and put them on my tray. So these were my mild ones that I made. And I'm just going to use my cookie scoop. You guys can see it's kind of dirty from the other ones. And I'm not packing it in. I better put them down here so that people don't get them confused. Okay, so you can shape them more into a ball if you want, but I wouldn't roll it around like you would a meatball because you want to keep it kind of loose. Like I said, you want to give that Bisquick room to expand. Okay, so the other thing you could do at this point, if you didn't want to eat all of the sausage balls, is you could take this and put it in the freezer. And then once it's all frozen, you can put them in a gallon-size bag. So that's it for the sausage balls. They're super easy to make and cover 3 of the food groups. So I hope you guys liked it.